Well, yes, and it's me again, guys. I'm Journey Ryan right here on Astrology Breakdown on My Psychic Connection. Now, last week it was me and Energy, and we had such a great time with you guys, and I'm so happy you guys are coming back. We've got a lot of things to talk to you about, but this week it's Squirrel and I. Well, hello, Squirrel.
Yeah,
How's it going?
it's going good. I feel energized.
Oh my gosh, if you guys missed out on that show earlier, oh, you guys missed a great show. Squirrel was out there killing it, kicking ass, taking names. And guys, if you didn't get a chance to watch it, go back and watch it right there in our channel on YouTube.
You just made me think of something. I have to say it. There's a
Go for
comic
it.
book called Squirrel Girl. She's a Marvel hero, and
Yeah.
her tagline is, "I'm here to kick butts and eat nuts, and I'm all out of nuts."
Nice, nice. Now we're gonna give you a tagline.
I can't steal Squirrel Girls, although I'm pretty sure I was here first.
Oh my gosh, guys, we have so much to talk to you guys about. Nice to see everybody walking through the door. So, guys, welcome, welcome. And, guys, make sure you know that this is Astrology Breakdown. So, we're going to be going through some transits that are going on, talking about some of the things that are going on in the sky. And let us know when those things relate to you. If you guys have astrology questions, don't hesitate to put those in the chat. We'll be more than happy to answer those questions for you as we go along because we have always a great time and we always seem to run out of time. You notice that?
or go over.
Oh, yeah, we definitely go over quite a bit. So, Energy is not with us tonight, but she will be back. She's out on assignment. So, guys, don't think that Energy is not coming back because she is. She's just out on assignment and she'll be back in 2 weeks. So, we got this week and next week, and then she'll be back the following. All right.
We missed
I
that.
know, but she will be back and she'll have us a whole bunch of stories to talk about and some great information because you know, like I know, the stacks of information she brings to the table.
She is amazing.
Great minds, great minds, I'm telling you. And then when we all three get to talking, it just never stops. It just never stops. If you guys could see the before the show, we should record the before the show.
We really should. And after the show.
Yeah, after the conversations are just absolutely amazing because we all inspire each other to do different things or think about things differently, and it's absolutely amazing. Especially that one episode we were talking about the moon and how the sun affects the moon and how its influences the moon and the energies that you feel with it and the spiciness that you can get from that as well. So definitely, it's a great time. Tarot astrologers after dark.
That's funny.
But yeah, we dive deep, we go into it, and Squirrel's got some transits that we'd like to share with you guys, give you a little bit of an update what's going on, but we got plenty of topics to talk about. So guys, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. If you don't know what she may be saying, or she's like maybe talking in a language that you may not understand, like Greek, just go ahead and ask the question. She'll be more happy to explain that to you, or me. It doesn't matter. One of us will come up with the answer. But
yeah, do you like to explain it in plain English?
Sure.
It's all Greek to me, right?
Exactly.
So what is going on in the sky right now? We've got the Aquarius sun and Pluto in Aquarius. Then we've got a Capricorn stellium. So I'm just going to run through this real quick and we'll explain all of it as we go along. So what that stellium is three or more planets in the same sign. And for Capricorn, we've got Venus, we've got Mars, and we've got Mercury. Those are our real close personal planets. So we're really feeling that Capricorn energy. Get it done. Then we have Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. That's a more dreamy quality. So we're able to pursue our dreams in a much more practical way, which is fantastic. And then we've got both Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus, which is more practicality. A lot of earth energy going on there. Oh, we also have that moon in Libra, which is probably why I'm feeling so energized, because that's a very good compliment to my Gemini moon, and it's also like kissing my ascendant. So if you guys are feeling super energized by this moon, even though it's a waning gibbous, it's probably because you've got some Libra or some very strong air energy in your chart. So we have an overabundance of earth energy, practicality, rules, getting things done, and we are missing fire. So without the fire, we may be lacking a little bit of passion at times, and we're just putting our nose to the grindstone. So whatever you do right now, especially with the lack of fire and the overabundance of earth, it would be really, really good to think of things to do that bring you passion, that bring you joy and excitement, and take your nose off the grindstone for a little bit, or we're all going to be walking around noseless. All right. So those are what's going on in the sky for now.
Now, I know a lot of you are out there feeling this energy, and I'm going to surprise everybody here with this, with the fact that it feels like Mercury's gone retrograde.
So bad.
But it feels that way. But guys, Mercury is not retrograde right now. What's going on with those retrogrades?
Absolutely nothing.
We,
Everything for the first time in a while has gone direct.
meaning we're moving forward, which we're not used to. We're always used to something pulling us back. Now, with this type of energy, this is the best time to put forth all those ideas that you felt like you've had all these setbacks. If there was ever setbacks, right now is not the time for those setbacks. This is the time to move forward. This is now, granted, this is a short time because I do believe the next retrograde is at the end of March going into April, and then definitely Mercury definitely goes retrograde in April. So we want to be aware
Yeah.
of that because we've got that brief time, but it's going to make you feel discombobulated. It's like almost like, you know how you hear the terminology, get your sea legs, and that's what we were going through when it came through with all the retrogrades, and now everything's finally sitting still and going forward, and we're just like, what in the actual hell is going on? Now, most people would say this is the calm before the storm because you've got, we were talking about Pluto, how
Hmm.
it was going from, you know, Capricorn into Aquarius, and then it's going to go back into Capricorn one more time before it fully goes direct into, I almost said Aqua, Aquarius.
But if you think about it too, that's the last push that Capricorn is going to have
Yeah,
to keep those changes from happening. It's going to be a big push.
absolutely.
Um, it is going to be a storm. So
Oh,
absolutely, I love the way you put that.
look at that. Karina's going to turn 58 tomorrow. Well, happy birthday.
Happy birthday!
She says, woohoo, good times for now, at least.
Oh, absolutely. But we do all have to get used to. Oh, and Rianne says April 8th is an eclipse. It's my wedding day. That's my mom and my dad's wedding day.
Oh, wow.
Do those impact like a retrograde? May I answer that?
Absolutely.
April 8th is a total eclipse, a total solar eclipse.
Of the
It would
heart.
not, yeah, turn around, bright eyes. Your turn.
I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist.
So a total solar eclipse means that the shadow will completely, the Earth's shadow will completely cover the moon. So we won't even, or the sun, as you were. Blit, let me get it straight. But that is a good thing. Retrogrades pull us back, make us think, make us go inward to see, well, what have I done wrong in the past? How can I fix this? There are things that say slow down. A total solar eclipse is like this burst of energy. Like it's really going to energize us, bring things forward. It's an amazing time, even better time than the full moon to do some massive manifestation and magic to make things move forward. So instead of pulling us back to reflect, it is going to be pushing us forward to do. It's definitely going to be hard. They are hard because the energy is so very strong, like full moon magnified by 100, right? Everybody's going to be a little bit on edge and wanting to get things done. So try to focus and channel that energy into production so that we're just not running around like chickens with our heads cut off. But in no way is it going to hold us back.
But here's the cool thing about that too. So we've got the Earth's shadow onto the moon, causing this eclipse. That eclipse is going to be whatever sign the moon is in, and that sign on that day at that time is going to be an Aries. All that fiery energy is going to come through. That's a direct. It's if there were ever a moment where the truth was going to come out, if there were ever a moment if you felt a certain way, you were going to be so direct with that. Because I have never met an Aries that wasn't afraid to speak their damn mind in that moment, in that time. So that energy is
And
going to be wow.
it being that total solar eclipse, and Ryan says absolutely, that sounds amazing. Yes, yes, and yes. And
Yes.
see, that's going to be an opposition to Libra. That
Mhm.
eclipse creates an opposition between Libra and Aries. So you've got that Aries that can speak its mind, but you've got that very social Libra. That's a really great time. Like if you want to speak out against something, a social conflict or something, make the world a better place, that is the time to speak out. Channel that Aries energy into a way to change the world into a better place, to stand up for something you believe in, to make it easier for everybody and not just some. And Ryan says 50% of my chart is Libra. Ooh, that would be rough for me. I got the Libra ascendant. That's enough. I'd sell it for a quarter.
So what that tells me with Ryan going forward with this wedding and the energy that's there is that Ryan's going to be in what I call protector mode, especially with that Libra playing a part in it. So what Ryan's going to want to protect that situation. The balance is about me. Anything that comes outside that bubble that's not balanced will not get past me. With that Aries energy, keeping her pushing forward and making sure that nothing is going to penetrate this shield. I will have balance.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
really good time to set boundaries. When you say it like that, I
Oh
didn't
yeah.
even think of that. And then I'd like to point out, I read that as anniversary. It specifically says wedding day. Congratulations,
I
Ryan.
know. That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing.
And
All
what a
right.
great day
Mm-hmm.
between that marriage between Libra and Aries, that oppositions aren't always bad things, they're
Oh,
challenges to do better, to meet in the middle.
how
What
can
a
how
beautiful
can we
thing.
meet that challenge exactly? And that's a great way to meet a challenge. And that Aries energy and that Libra energy mixed in, and that moon is going to be empowering. It's kind of like seeing an. I kind of look at eclipses like a new moon because in a new moon, what is happening? The shadow of the Earth is blocking out. It's blocking out all of that, but this time you can see the radiation of the sun. It's a pretty cool thing. It's
Ah,
you know,
yeah.
eclipses are amazing.
And we're going to be able to see it from just about everywhere. Karina says, yes, Aries rising has got me in trouble when younger. I bet. I
Them
bet. I would love to hang out with you.
well, you're one of your sons is a lot of Aries energy. Like Aries this, Aries that, Aries, Aries, Aries. Wait until he's amplified by that eclipse.
Oh no. Good thing he lives like 900 miles away. That would be a bit much for me. Like he's a quadruple Aries.
Yeah,
Sun, moon, rising, and Mercury. It's a bit much, but I
his
adore him.
communication is going to be I with that much Aries in him, not meaning to the directness of that communication, it's going to come off extremely harsh, extremely harsh for those who aren't ready for it. But don't worry, Cancer's out there. They got that sass in their ass, so don't worry, they'll get past that. They love them some Aries energy. They do. Ryan says thank you at the castle and all. Laugh out loud. I'm protected. I'm all about truth and integrity.
Oh wow. A castle. Yes. Yes.
It's your fortress. And like I
And
said, that fortress of energy was beautiful.
And what she said about that protectiveness, all that
Mm-hmm.
Libra, they're advocates for the underdog. And that's, I think, what I was trying to say with that Aries and Libra opposition. If you can marry the two together well, you could be very great advocates for underdogs in society. There's political people that actually go around doing just that. That's their
Right.
entire job. I don't know what they're called because I'm not political in the least, but that would be a really fantastic day for them to get their points across and for people to hear it.
Right. And sometimes your communication is in that Aries energy will come off because remember the moon changes so quickly. That's why I said those cancers are going to be able to handle it. That's their planet. So
Mm.
they're going to be able to ride with it. You're going to see some sass in their ass, and they're just spicy and sassy all by themselves. So the thing is that when you are communicating and knowing that now you have the knowledge and recognize that this Aries energy is out there, to see if you can't find a way to be direct and not be hurtful about it, because there's other ways to deliver. And that's something sometimes we fail to remember because we just feel the emotion. We don't think about the emotion, we just feel it and then we express it.
On the opposite of the
Mhm.
spectrum, though, I do absolutely respect what you're saying because we never just want to be harsh.
Right.
But there are times,
There are.
especially with that Libra energy, where we've said it and we've said it and we've said it and we've said it and nobody's listening. You could actually, if you have been in that situation where just it's falling on deaf ears, then you could use that Aries energy to give it that punch that makes people finally listen as well. Just be sure there's a fine line there, not to go aggressive and warlike, but you can actually use that Aries energy with that eclipse to say, you're going to listen to me now. And I'm not that guy.
So the thing about that touching the fire, now we all know that ow it's hot, ow it's hot, ow it's hot. Eventually you're going to say, yeah, but I need to be direct here because I'm tired of getting burned. That's a great example to when to be that direct, because sometimes harshness is the only time someone's going to listen.
Yep.
But we try our best to try to communicate in a different way, as you know how I do. I try to communicate it till eventually I'm just like, okay, we're doing it this way. You either like it or you lump it. Brian says, sorry to ask so much. No, we love it. We love
No, we
this
love the
stuff.
questions.
How do squares impact the alignment of things falling in? Falling.
Squares are, they got a bad rap. Squares are predominantly in especially pop astrology just seen as bad. They
Bad
can be
mood.
harsh. Yeah. Okay, Joni, just okay. Let me stop
I had
laughing.
to. I had to.
Should I tell a joke real quick?
Sure, tell your joke real quick so they understand
Okay.
what the hell I just did to you.
Yeah, what he just did to me was epic. Ryan, I'll answer your question in just a second. So my favorite joke in the whole world is, what do you get when you cross a mad cow and an angry sheep? You get a critter that's in a bad mood. And that's what Journey just, he went bad mood. So poor squares have a really bad rap. Now remember, everything in astrology is to help us do better. Squares are, and Ryan says, all I know is mine. I'm going to assume that says mine is Taurus. It depends on what the Taurus is attached to. Squares are challenges. And she's laughing. I'm glad you like my joke. So say if you have a Taurus, you could be squared to, let me think. I got the circle. I have to see it right in front of me. Oh, I can look at it right here. I'm bad with angles unless they're right in front of me. Taurus would be squared to Aquarius or to one, two, three, Leo. Okay, it would be squared to fixed energy. Fixed to fixed means stubborn to stubborn. So it's challenges. She says, I love jokes, girl. You be you always. I can't help it. I try not to be sometimes, but it just comes right out. So squares are not always bad. If you can rise to the challenge, like say you have two things in your chart that are truly stubborn and they're at odds with each other, which happens in charts all the time. We are all very, very mercurial, like contradictory beings. It's just natural for us to be contradictory within ourselves. So, say you have Taurus and it is square to Leo, then what you're looking at on a really basic level is stubborn just for the sake of being stubborn, and things have always been done this way. That's Taurus, to stubborn with Leo, like I don't want to do it. I'd rather just have fun. And you've got Taurus practicality and Leo fun kind of at war with each other. So if you can rise to the challenge to where you're not just stuck doing nothing because you've got two separate stubbornnesses in you, if that made any sense, then if you can rise to where you can marry the two together and make it work and have fun and be productive, then you've risen above the challenge and you've made that square work for you. So squares aren't always bad, but they are always difficult. Okay. And Ryan says, I'm legally blind. Sorry for the spelling. No worries. No
Never worry
worries.
about that here. We'll
Yeah.
never say
Uh,
anything about it. We'll do our best, but sometimes even I spell I leave out letters. Trust me, it happens. I type too fast or my keyboard can't keep up, but it happens.
We all speak typo.
Exactly. Ryan says, "So can I make you feel like you can't find your ass with both hands in a map?"
A square certainly can, but when you rise to the challenge, you be pooping out maps. Okay.
Absolutely. All right. Um, I'm gonna call you son. We're not gonna be doing any direct readings on here for your birth date, so we're gonna be talking about breaking down the astrology that's going on currently. And if you'd like to get a natal chart done for you, you can go over to My Psychic Connection, check out Skwirl. She'll be more than happy to help you out and get you that amazing read. We will be doing them here on the show here soon, and we've got some other cool, fun things planned for you guys. So guess what? It's going to get interesting. All right. Ryan says, I'm no Columbus. Neither was he. Neither was he.
I could get lost in a paper bag, Ryan.
Yeah.
I've been lost in McDonald's once.
I remember that story. That was a good one. But with all of this stuff going on, we're talking about how there's no retrogrades right now. This is the perfect time to take advantage. And I need to look to see if that retrograde takes place when Capricorn goes, or Pluto goes back into Capricorn for just that moment, because April 8th, does it happen prior to that or is it just a few days after that?
Oh, I do have that written down somewhere, but I got notes for miles, so
That I
it's
do know, but I don't have
good
my
thing.
I don't have my tablet in front of me with my research on it, so which
Yeah,
is
that's
probably a bad idea not to have him come on an astrology show to try to remember everything.
yeah, it's like my head would explode. I do believe
I do
The
believe it's
eclipse
before.
happens before the retrograde. I'm thinking, I could be wrong here, but I'm trying to look at it in my head. I think the retrograde happens later in April, and it lasts with Pluto until September 21st. I'm looking at notes in my head, so they could be off, but it would take me a little while to dig through the notes that I have beside me and all my research I've been doing. I wish I could retain, but I know it's in April until September, and then it will finally go direct in Aquarius after it, like it'll be a very short, like 2 degrees.
Um,
And
I try to do a quick look, but then all the pop astrology popped up, and I'm just like, no,
yeah, you gotta dig when you go on the internet because that pop astrology crap is everywhere. Excuse me, I didn't mean to say.
no, but it is. I mean, that's why I was telling people we were talking about the TikTok thing last week, where people were like, "Welcome to the age of Aquarius." I'm like, no, Pluto's going to Aquarius. Pluto does not set the age. It doesn't. It will be in Aquarius for 21 years, but and then the thing that caught me too, that was I just my mind was blown because they're like, well, Pluto's been in Capricorn for the last 16 years. I was like, if that were the case, it would still have 4 or 5 more years because it's 21
That
years.
21 years, and then an age does not only last 21 years. These ages last thousands of
4,000
years.
years. 4,000 years.
So 21 does not equal 4,000.
No, no. And then the thing about it is that the age of Pisces started in 1 AD with Jesus. Connect the very first day of that with Jesus.
Yeah.
From there, we need 4,000 years before we hit the age of Aquarius. Everybody today on this planet that is a living being is not going to make it to the age of Aquarius. If not, I will be your spirit guide for the rest of your life because, wow, did you find a way to live? But the thing is, it doesn't mean that we won't be in another spiritual body by that point. So the thing is that none of us are going to make it to the age of Aquarius, but you can tell that we're in the age of Pisces due to the fact is look at how we're all the emotion that's coming out, how people feel. We're addressing how everyone feels when we didn't used to address those feelings, was to avoid those feelings. Mind your business, it's not yours. That's how a lot of people were raised. If that is not your business, you don't mind it. But now people are having the ability to speak out. The internet has provided a platform for people who didn't speak before to finally have the balls to do so.
Yeah.
They are now feeling free enough to be able to go, I was abused. I felt like this. This is how I see the world.
Yeah.
And other people can rebuttal to that and say, well, you know what? I saw the world in similar ways, just not quite the same your story is, but I can relate to you. And then people started to be able to relate to one another. And that was good. But now we're at that part where we're at that teenage years of the Pisces. And we're getting the, well, my story was better than your story because I got hurt worse. We're going to get past that soon, guys. It's not going to stay that way forever.
And I love the way you put that teenage years, because we're looking at 4,000 years here, and it's not all just going to be poof in your lap.
Right.
These are gradual changes. Like the changes I was talking about with the Pluto finally going direct in Aquarius and staying in Aquarius for 21 years. That's going to be gradual changes. They're not going to happen overnight. So 21 years is gradual changes. 4,000, this is some slow stuff. Probably our full lifetimes we're going to be stuck in the teenage years of Pisces, and man, I would, ooh, Pisces is a rough one.
It is. But it's not anything that we can't get through. And we need this. Believe it or not, you know, a lot of people are like, well, I don't like to feel emotions. A lot of Capricorns are like that. Scorpios, they are emotional beings, but they don't like to feel their emotions either. Hence the venomous stinger. And the thing about it is that we have to feel these emotions. We have to go through these things, because if we don't, we're never going to get past a lot of things that we hold back. So when you feel those times of emotions and you want to hold that stuff back, in a time where we're like, let's say in Pisces, Cancer's energy is a really good time to release it. I wouldn't do it in Pisces energy as much, but in Cancer energy, they have a little bit more of a control. They're so used to the tides changing that they can go with the flow with you, because they're so used to those that rapid change in emotion.
And Cancer, okay, Cancer is the most pure form of water. Is it like you have the chart that goes all the way around, and you've got um fire, earth, air, water, fire, earth, air, water, all the way around 3 times. So that first set of fire, earth, air, and water is its purest form. You think about mutable fire, or as you were, cardinal fire, Aries. Fire is happiest when it can just be, right? And then you have fixed earth. Well, duh, of course it's in its rawest form. Earth isn't supposed to move, right? Then you have mutable air. What is thought? What is air? We manipulate it constantly. If air weren't mutable, none of us would be able to breathe. And thought process should never be stagnant, should never be fixed. Cardinal, it happens, but mutability, the ability to explore and dream and believe and find new things, that is air at its rawest, purest form. Then we have cardinal water. And water is where all life springs from. Of course, it's cardinal. So that is its rawest, purest form. So, of course, it can handle those emotions. Plus, it is most strongly tied to the moon, which is our deepest emotional subconscious needs. So, Cancer can handle the emotions best, a healthy Cancer. A healthy Cancer.
This is
And
true.
sorry, all that. I got all excited and just word vomited all over
Hey, no,
you.
no, no, you're fine. That's perfectly fine. Ryan says, I tell Pisces, don't be a down fish.
Good fish, bad fish. Good fish, bad fish. They're like twins.
Ryan, you have in your chart,
Virgo.
yeah, Virgo in your chart. Don't
Oh.
you? Yes, I have a ton of Virgo in my chart. And Ryan, you have Virgo in your chart, don't you? Yes, very. Um, so technically Cancer, but with the Virgo in my chart, it was like 4 planets in Virgo.
Yep.
Yeah, my rising sign is a Sagittarius, my Aquarius moon, and everything else seems to want to go into Virgo.
Lots of Virgo. Very
Yeah.
organized. And I love the way the Virgo plays with the Sagittarius, because a lot of Sagittarius energy has so many ideas that they can't keep up with them. Ryan says,
Because
I'm a
I'm a
Virgo.
Virgo, I can tell.
The
Most definitely.
Sagittarius energy is what's mutable fire, and it sparks ideas constantly. Some of them great, some of them not so great. But it starts an idea, and then it runs off to the next idea before any ideas are fully formed.
Hmm.
That's like hyper, like pure Sagittarius energy. With all that Virgo in your chart, you're able to contain those thoughts, document them, organize them, and carry them out. And though that's a square, that is a really great example of a square, Virgo to Sagittarius, because they're both mutable. They're both a little bit all over the place. But Virgo being earth, it's able to rein it in, and you're able to get so much done. You get more done in an hour than most people get done in a year.
Well,
I've
you know
seen
this.
it.
I was going to say, you know this. You've seen my ass in action. Um, but I just, you know, that's how I've always been. I knew no different. You know, even as a kid, that was that guy that did it all and got it done. And if certain things weren't done a certain way, oh, you better believe I went behind you. Like when my sister and I would clean the house and she would do it wrong, I would go behind her and refix it because that's not the way mom's gonna like it.
Well, that overabundance of Virgo energy too is a bit of perfectionism, but without that perfectionism, you might have accomplished a great deal, but not as well as it's been accomplished.
Right.
Ryan says, even if not physically, the mind did it all.
Exactly.
Yeah, Virgo is like, okay. I know we're not talking about Virgo essentially like show wise, but I've
Right.
got to. I love the way the show
No,
rolls. I have
absolutely.
to explain, and some of you have probably heard me explain this before, but each sign has a planetary rulership, each one, and most of them. Well, the sun and the moon are not planets; they're called luminaries, and they each only rule one sign. We'll go into that another time. But every other planet from Mercury on rules two signs, the feminine sign and the masculine sign. But every planet but Mercury only rules one sign. Mercury not only rules Virgo, but it is exalted in Virgo. That is the only sign that has a planet both rulership and exaltation. That's like huge, huge. And it's also at detriment and fall in Pisces. So Mercury is our thought process, our ability to bring our thoughts out from our heads out into the real world, either through thought or as you were, speech, writing, art. So Mercury is a big deal. So Virgo is truly, and the Sagittarians are going to hate hearing this, Virgo is the smartest sign used correctly.
Now, you said Virgo is the smartest sign used correctly. Now, used correctly, I know there are people out there, let's say ADHD and things like that. Those types of minds process at such a level that most don't comprehend. They learn at a higher level. Sometimes they're visual, sometimes they're audio, sometimes they have to do it themselves to understand what's going on. So I try to tell people because I have a nephew who has ADHD and a few other little things that go on with him. But I could tell you, he is smart in ways that others aren't.
Absolutely. Autism as well. It's like they're processing information at such a quick speed that the rest of us can't. Okay, the rest of us can't follow how they're coming to their conclusions. Ryan says, I'm just going to take that as a compliment. Oh, it was.
1000%.
But one of the things, so like, remember I said Pisces is considered at fall and detriment with Mercury. That doesn't mean that Pisces people are stupid at all. What it
No.
means is like Pisces see and think differently than the rest of the world, especially in Mercury. And like, let's take Einstein. Einstein got kicked out of college because he told his professors they were stupid and they were wrong. And he gave them information that everybody was like, we don't know what the hell you're talking about. It took him until he was in his 40s to be able to properly explain it. And he changed science in its entirety. That's Pisces. He got a direct download from the universe, information nobody else had. And it took him so long to be able to explain it. And he finally figured out how, but he already knew it. So here were his college professors thinking, well, he's just stupid. He don't even belong in college. But it was sheer brilliance that he didn't know how to communicate. So it's not that Pisces is stupid. It's that Pisces has information that we can't figure out where it got it from. And Pisces sometimes can't prove it until they've been given ample time to do so. I'm sorry, I get so excited.
No, the passion behind it is it's amazing, and I love listening to it. And Ryan says, yes, autistic people have a beautiful mind and very misunderstood. That's right.
I
And
think
those,
the
those
autism
Pisces,
is correct download. I'm sorry. I
well,
know.
the Pisces, I wanted to add to the Pisces thing that you were talking about too, is that with Pisces, they feel first and think later, And that causes a problem for the Pisces because they
Yeah.
want to feel the emotion first. They have to go, but that's the way they process. That's the way they think. They have to feel it first. And even when they're trying to see things from other people's perspective, they need to feel what that other person felt in order for them to think it through to give that person, let's say, advice. But
And using Einstein as an example, again, Einstein was a Pisces sign. He was a
mhm,
Pisces. And he felt the science. But if you look at a very famous quote that he had when the atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima,
yeah,
his first words were, "I should have been a clockmaker." It broke his heart that his science was used for destruction. It broke his heart
his
when he saw what
brilliant
it could
mind
do.
was used in a way that was destructive versus, constructive.
Yeah. Yeah, and there was so much constructive ability or potential
Yeah,
behind the science. There still is. I mean,
there is. It's
wow.
just not being, just because it's been used as a weapon now, it's not being looked at anything else other than that weapon.
Yeah, yeah. And it truly broke his heart.
Ryan says, so I hear conflicting opinions on Pisces versus Scorpios being the most intuitive. Uh, would it be Pisces because they carry all 12 elements?
Pisces is water,
Mm-hmm.
period. I don't know where you heard that from. We I'm glad you asked that question.
Yeah.
When I say that that's not possible, I don't mean to berate you in any way. Curiosity is amazing. Questions are amazing because when we're given misinformation, we want to know, and the only way to know is to ask questions. So it's not you, it's the person who gave you that information. Pisces is water. I know there's a whole bunch of things that say it builds up and it's everything. Pisces it's water. I know I've said that like 12 times already. So can I see that question again?
Yeah.
Because that really distracted me. Pisces versus Scorpio being the most intuitive. That's a tough one because Pisces, like, really seriously just downloads information from the universe, just poof out of the air, right? Pisces is incredibly intuitive. Every single sign has its own type of intuition. Pisces is direct download, sometimes misinformation or not misinformation, but information overload type of thing where they might misinterpret because it's so much at once and our brains aren't really designed for that. Now Scorpio, its natural habitat is the eighth house, which is the house of of many things, but one of those main things being the occult and the other side, the secrets of the universe. So there's intuition just naturally woven into the house. Water signs, period, are the most intuitive as far as downloads from the universe, but every single sign has its own method and madness of intuition. But I would say it's a toss up. They're just different ways of how that information is processed. Mercury would have a lot to do with it, the planet where your Mercury is, because that's how we process the information that we're given, how we explain it, how we teach it, how we learn it, all of that. She said, I'm glad I asked because it seemed ridiculous. I am so glad you asked
I'm
too.
glad she asked too. Now,
I
the way I was taught when it came to the intuitiveness of each sign was based off those elements and who was,
Mhm.
so like fire was going to be Aries, and the water was Cancer, air is Gemini, earth is Taurus. Those would be the strongest in those natural abilities, but it's not saying that Leo and all the other ones have that ability. Maybe it comes a little easier for them, it comes a little bit harder for them, or they ignore it, because a lot of those other signs will be more equal to ignore their own natural abilities, because we're all told that we, oh, that's just in your head, or Santa Claus isn't real. You find out the Easter Bunny's not real. You found out that, Cupid doesn't exist. You just
Yeah.
kind of like, okay, so maybe it's in my head. But a lot of times we've been told, but you got to think of all the religions that said that all of these things that come from, let's say, paganism that's all a bunch of hooey. Well, it's cute and funny that you say it's all a bunch of hooey and it's witchcraft and it's the devil, but it's amazing how you guys took all of your holidays and mimic it off of one certain religion, and they all do it. Not just Christians, not just the Catholics, they all do it. All the religions do it.
Yeah.
Paganism was the original religion, the first organized religion.
Yeah, or recorded.
Yeah,
Yeah,
first
organized and
organized
recorded.
religion. Right.
Yeah.
So
And a
I would
lot of
never
people
say.
believe.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead. You go ahead. You go ahead. You're a go ahead.
No, you were following a train of thought. You sparked a train of thought in me.
Oh, I was just going to say that when it comes to all signs have the ability, it really has a lot to do with not just your sun sign, because Squirrel has even said this to me as well, and I knew that the sun sign wasn't the sign that we used to base it off of. We actually used to base your rising sign as who you were versus your sun sign. So
Yep.
a lot of people, so what your rising shine is showing to the universe is what they see of you. So a lot of people would see me because of my Virgo side, it's really strong, but that Sagittarius does shine through quite a bit. You see that in me. You can see how that projects to the way other people see me. A lot of people can't peg me as a Cancer. They don't realize it until they get close enough, and then they find the hell out. So
and like pop astrology will say that the rising sign, the ascendant, is a mask. A mask gives the impression that it's something that can be put back on or removed. Our ascendant is, think of it, that's the moment you were born. The moment, like if you were born at 7:23 a.m., the ascendant is the furthest most eastern point in the sky, like where the sun would rise when you were born. That is our first perception of the world. It's how we view the world, and it's how the world views us. And it colors all of our other planets and signs with, like, it gives a tint. Like I've got a Libra ascendant. So even though I have a Leo sun or a Cancer Mercury, there's a tint of Libra in everything because I carry it out by the way I perceive the world and by the way the world perceives me. Did that make sense?
it did.
Okay.
It made perfect sense. But
And
so,
oh,
go ahead.
you couldn't bring that up without me telling you dates.
Oh, absolutely. Ryan says, so the ruler with astrologer wise hits that the sign does not hit you overall. No, it's based off of every placement in your chart, because each part, like you were saying, the outer planets, anything past the asteroid belt is more of your family history, and that's generational. That's generational stuff.
Yeah.
And then you've got your inner planets that is more direct towards you. Mercury with your communication, Venus with your love, Mars with your, there's a lot of. I can't wait until we can do astrology from Mars, so I can see what Earth is.
I know, right? It's coming. And chart rulership, in answer to Ryan, I keep wanting to say Ryan. It's Ryan. I'm sorry. Chart rulership is rather complicated. An astrologer would have to spend a lot of time with it, and it's kind of fun to do. But there's so many factors are determined. It's by what is that planet in a sign that it rules? Is it in a sign that it hates being in? Is it happy in that house? Is it prevalent? Like, is it stronger? Like your sun sign, your sun sign is not always your chart ruler. My chart ruler, best example I can give, is Mars, believe it or not. because not only is Mars in Scorpio, which is its feminine rulership, it's also in the first house, which is one of the houses that it is most comfortable in. So I've got some really strong placements. Like I've got my sun kissing my Jupiter. So my sun is like, boom, amplified, but it's in a house it's not really happy in. So that Scorpio Mars, man, it is just like a pig in a poke. It wants to be there. It's in the right house. It's in the right sign, and it rules over everything. Doesn't mean I come across as a Scorpio. I'm pretty sure I don't. But it does mean that's my chart ruler. And when something Mars related comes into play, that's where my strongest abilities are. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
You're the chart ruler. I have to look at my chart again to find out which one mine's the ruler.
I would almost say because of the presence of so much Virgo, it might be Virgo, but I would really have to sit down, not Virgo, Saturn. I think your chart ruler is Saturn just at a glance
Mm-hmm.
because of all the Virgo and because Saturn and Jupiter are there like amplifying each other and messing with each other.
I remember all of what there was four or five of my planets were retrograde when I was born as well.
Yeah, one, two. I'm looking at your chart right now. Three, four
Uh,
of them. Four
yeah,
of them.
four of my planets were retrograde at the time of my birth. So that's a fun and interesting because I look at things differently as well. I look at it
Yes.
in a reverse role versus looking in it the way it's being presented to me, depending on which it may be, if it's the communication, if it's the lovers. That's why I'm pretty damn good at the love. And I believe that's why I'm so good at love readings, because I'm looking at it the reverse role. I'm not looking at it from what I can hear what you're saying and take that in, but I can see it from the other side.
And
You're not
not only
may not
that, with that
be that
that retrograde in your
way.
Venus you're talking about, you
Yes.
also have Venus in Gemini, which also has the ability to look at every side of the picture. You know, you don't just take one person into consideration. You want all the information from every aspect before you can, so that comes right in, right in. You get
So
that information like shoot.
the thing, oh, and Ryan did say, you seem too free spirited to be a Scorpio. She is. She definitely is. Um, the other thing about Venus, a lot of people don't realize, is that it actually spins the opposite direction in the solar system. So when it's going in its retrograde, it actually looks like it's spinning the right way. And so you're seeing it as it would be if it were direct.
Yeah, yeah, that's so cool. And see, I had learned that as an astrologer, but you have no idea. Well, you do.
She says, you, Venus and Gemini, you ghost people like a boss. When I'm done, I'm done.
It takes a while. Can I spill your beans?
Just a little.
So Journey's got the patience of a flippin' saint. I swear to God, I've never seen anybody so patient with people. And he gives them chance after chance after chance. But he's got that Cancer Sun and that Cancer Mercury. So that last straw, he's like, oh, we're done. And when he's done, oh, he's done. It's a beautiful combination, but he gives people a lot of chances before his patience says, pow. And when it breaks, it's going to smack you in the face.
And don't believe that you're going to communicate with me, because it will not happen. I don't care how many sorries
Yeah.
I get. You show me who you are,
Oh,
I believe you.
yeah, yeah. And I think that's a beautiful mix. I think that Gemini Venus actually goes quite well with that Cancer Sun and Mercury because Cancer is the best at cutting ties. And Cancer does, oh, it loves so hard. But when it gets hurt, ooh, it's walking away and it is never looking back ever.
The exes know that.
No, bitch, we can't be friends, right?
We ain't friends. You and me, we spent enough time on Earth together. Move on. And that's the last words they get. They get move on. They've tried. And I have people that I cut out of my life who try to communicate through other people. And I was like, if we're going to talk about them, I have nothing to say.
Yeah.
I'll even ghost the person that's trying to, I'll be like, we're good. If
Yeah,
that's
we
what you're
are
trying to do,
done.
I'm not here to mend that bridge. I said what I had to. Peace has been made, at least in my hand. If they feel guilty for whatever they're feeling guilty about, so let it be.
But I've actually never seen you ghost anyone. You communicate
Oh,
with
yeah, I
them.
communicate the end.
Yeah.
But
You
after
get
that,
that
I'm a damn
closure.
spirit. The only way they're going to be able to talk to me ever again is through a Ouija board.
I need that in my chart.
You want to talk to me again? Ouija board. And I'm going to play
That's
games at that point.
I'm like,
You know?
I'm stealing that. I'm writing it down right now.
Okay. I had an ex, one of their best friends came to me one day, and I was in a mood. I was done with their crap. I had already cut them out of my life. It had been 3 weeks, and I keep hearing all his friends trying to come back at me. And they were like, when are you going to talk to him? And I said, when he can do it with the Ouija board. Until then, no.
I'm actually writing it down. Good thing you're talking.
So
It's so funny.
I've said that one for years. I love it. I still use it in my arsenal. It still works to this day, and it definitely works with the type of work that I do. All right, D, I know that you'd like to get a reading, sweetheart, but our next reading show is tomorrow, 10 p.m. Eastern with Skwirl. So go to Whispers from the Forest and check it out at 10 p.m. Eastern. She'll be more than happy to give you guys a reading. And we also have a dream show at midnight tomorrow night. So guys, don't forget to check that out. It's going to be with me and Kay. It's going to be a great time. Trust me, we dive deep when it comes to them dreams. We give you the understanding of the symbolism. And I know that, Squirrel's been a part of that and watched that show so many times. And the symbolism, she was just like, oh, how the hell did you see that?
So like crazy dreams, right? And I asked Journey and Kay about them. And the way they break it down and explain the process and what was going on, it's like, why didn't I see that? It's like so very cool to see it spelled out so beautifully to where you're like, oh my God, I understand. Because some of them dreams haunt you forever until somebody like Journey and Kay can put it into perspective.
Absolutely.
Ryan says, secret name Luigi. I'm
I like
lost.
Luigi.
Is that like Mario Brothers?
Yeah, he was the grandmaster. I like Luigi. He was one of my favorites. Everybody liked Mario. I was like, I'll be Luigi. I don't give a shit.
He's got the cooler name.
Yeah. But Squirrel, with all this beautiful talk about astrology and all the things that are going on in the sky, we have run out of time.
What?
Yeah, it's already come and gone. Come and
it's
gone.
So fast.
Guys, this has been beautiful. And don't forget that you can catch us every technically Thursday morning at midnight, right here on My Psychic Connection with this beautiful show. It's always right after Energy, the Metaphysical Crone on Tuesdays. So, guys, make sure you're checking us out here because it's Wednesday for some, Tuesdays for others. And yes, you don't need to worry about it because technically it's still Tuesday for you for another 2 minutes.
Oh yay! It's Tuesday for me till I've been asleep for 8 hours.
Exactly. Ryan says, thanks for your time and energy. Absolutely.
And thanks for all those great questions.
Definitely, Ryan. That was great forms of questions there. I appreciate it. You gave us a chance to really, go deeper on things. And when you guys ask those questions, we may talk about a lot of the astrology, but when you guys ask the questions, you allow us to go even deeper to help you understand some of the things that you may have heard. And not always are we going to go debunk and say, oh, no, that's not true. A lot of times you hear us say, yes, that's right, but here's why it's right. And then we go deeper in it. So it's not always going to be a no. There are a lot of times that we find people that have got that right information, and we love to just dive in because then that just makes us go down a new rabbit hole to share with you guys all types of new information that you might not have gotten the first time.
Right? Like, oops, there she went.
Exactly.
Oops, there you
Squirrel
went.
and I have sat up for, I don't know, 9 hours going down rabbit holes, just going, oh my God, what about this? And then there's this. We could have made a show
I
out
do
of
believe,
that.
yeah, it was 10 o'clock at night, at
Mhm.
least one instance. And we went down a rabbit hole and started researching together. And the next thing I knew, it was 9 o'clock in the morning.
And we were like, oh my God, we gotta go to bed. But guys, this has been beautiful and wonderful. And we thank you guys all so much for being here. Guys, Energy will be back. She won't be on the next week's show, but she will be on the following week's show. So, guys, make sure you tune in. All three of us will be here having a great time with you guys. Squirrel, this is always fun with you. Absolutely love it. And everybody, you guys have a beautiful night. And we will talk to you guys later. Have a good one. And we will see you next week with some more astrology breakdown.